If your Social Security check hasn't gone up the way you expected, there's a reason nobody's talking about, and it could cost you real money right now. Here's what's actually happening. The government just confirmed a 2.8% COLA increase for over 71 million Americans in 2026. But for millions of seniors, that raise is already getting eaten up before it even hits your bank account. Medicare. Part B premiums jumped from $185 to $202.90 a month, which wipes out nearly $18 of that increase right off the top. But here's what most people are completely missing. The Social Security Fairness Act, signed into law in January 2025, eliminated two major provisions that had been quietly cutting benefits for teachers, police officers, firefighters, and federal workers for decades. Some of those retroactive payments reached over $1,000 per month per person, and the SSA already sent out $17 billion in back payments. On top of that, a brand new $6,000 tax deduction specifically for Americans 65 and older just went into effect, which could put serious money back in your pocket at tax time. You need to know if you qualify because most seniors don't even know this exists yet. So let's slow down and actually walk through all of this together because every single piece of what I just told you is real, it is confirmed, and it is happening right now. And I want to make sure that when this video is over, you know exactly where you stand, what you're entitled to, and what steps you need to take today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Let's start with the 2026 COLA, because this is where most seniors are feeling confused and honestly a little frustrated. The Social Security Administration officially announced a 2.8% cost of living adjustment for 2026. That sounds good on paper, right? The average retirement benefit went from roughly $2,015 a month up to about $2,071. So you're looking at about $56 more in your pocket every single month starting in January 2026. Now, $56 is not nothing. But here's where the story gets a lot more complicated, and the news headlines are absolutely not telling you the full picture. While Social Security gave you a 2.8% raise, Medicare turned right around and raised the Part B premium from $185 per month all the way up to $202.90. That is a jump of nearly $18 a month, and it happened almost simultaneously. So the government gave you $56 more and then quietly took back about $18 of it through your Medicare premium before that money ever touched your bank account. That means your real, actual net increase after Medicare is closer to $38 a month. Now, the Senior Citizens League, which is one of the most credible watchdog organizations in the country when it comes to protecting seniors' finances, has been tracking this trend for years. And what they've found is alarming. This is now the third straight year in a row that Medicare Part B premiums have risen faster than the COLA itself. In 2024, Part B premiums jumped 6%, while COLA was only 3.2%. In 2025, Part B went up 5.8%, while COLA was only 2.5%. And now in 2026, Part B went up a staggering 9.7%, while COLA was 2.8%. Think about that math for a second. Medicare premiums are increasing at 3 times the rate of your Social Security raise. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern that is slowly and quietly eroding your buying power every single year you are in retirement. And the crazy part is, most people don't even realize it's happening because they never look closely enough at their statement. Now I want to talk about something much bigger, because for millions of Americans, and I mean this literally, millions, there is money sitting out there that you may have already been owed and may not have received yet. This is the Social Security Fairness Act, signed into law on January 5th, 2025 by President Biden. And this is a law that changed everything for a very specific group of Americans who had been treated unfairly by the system for decades. Let me explain this in plain English. For over 40 years, there were 2 provisions baked into the Social Security system that quietly cut benefits for public sector workers. They were called the Windfall Elimination Provision, known as WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, known as GPO. These 2 rules affected teachers, firefighters, police officers, federal employees under the Civil Service Retirement System, postal workers, and even some Americans who had worked in jobs covered by foreign social security systems. The idea behind these provisions was that if you received a pension from a job that didn't pay into Social Security, like a state government job, then your Social Security benefit would be reduced. In theory, it sounded fair. In reality, it was anything but. Millions of people who had worked hard, paid into the system in other jobs, and truly earned their benefits were getting shortchanged every single month. Some people were having their spousal or survivor benefits completely eliminated. A widow who had counted on her deceased husband's Social Security to help pay the bills was getting nothing, zero, because of the government pension offset. That was the reality for a lot of Americans for a very, very long time. The Social Security Fairness Act ended all of that. Both WEP and GPO are gone, completely repealed. And not only that, but the law applied retroactively, going all the way back to January 2024. So if your benefits were being cut by these rules before the law passed, you weren't just going to get more money going forward, you were going to get back everything that was unfairly taken from you starting January of last year. The SSA started sending out those retroactive lump sum payments beginning the week of February 24th, 2025. And as of July 7th, 2025, the Social Security Administration confirmed that they had completed sending over 3.1 million payments, totaling a staggering $17 billion. They finished 5 months ahead of their original schedule. Now, those monthly benefit increases vary widely depending on your individual situation. According to the SSA themselves, some people saw very small increases, while others are now receiving over $1,000 more per month. The Congressional Budget Office estimated an average monthly increase of around $360. Think about what $360 more per month means for your quality of life. That is groceries. That is a utility bill. That is gas money and medications. That is real money that changes real lives. But here's the thing I want you to hear clearly. Not everyone has received their payment yet. There are complex cases where automation couldn't do the processing automatically, that required manual review by SSA staff. And even now in early 2026, there are still people who are eligible and have not come forward, either because they didn't know they qualified or because they never applied for benefits in the first place because the old GPO rules had told them they wouldn't get anything anyway. If you are a retired teacher, a retired firefighter, a retired police officer, a federal civil service retiree, or a widow or widower of any of those people, you need to check right now. You need to go to ssa.gov/my account, log into your account, and look at your benefit information. If you think you might qualify and you haven't received an adjustment or a lump sum payment, do not wait. Call the Social Security Administration directly at 1-800-772-1213. You could be leaving thousands of dollars on the table. And I mean that literally. If someone was owed $360 more a month starting in January 2024, and they didn't receive that until mid-2025, that retroactive lump sum payment alone could easily be in the range of $5,000 to $6,000 or more, depending on their situation. Now let's shift to the third major development, because this one could directly affect how much money you keep from your Social Security check when tax season comes around. And right now we are in the middle of tax season for 2025 returns. I'm talking about the brand new $6,000 senior tax deduction that was signed into law on July 4th, 2025, as part of what's officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This is a real law. This is not a rumor. This is confirmed by the IRS directly on their website. Here's what it does. Starting with the 2025 tax year, which means the returns you are filing right now in early 2026, if you are 65 years of age or older by the end of 2025, you can claim an additional $6,000 deduction on your federal income tax return. And if you are married and both you and your spouse are at least 65, you can claim $12,000 total. The most important thing to understand about this deduction is that it is available to you whether you itemize your deductions or whether you take the standard deduction. You don't have to do anything special to access it. It's automatic based on your age. In TurboTax, for example, it shows up automatically on your return based on your date of birth. But if you are filing with a tax preparer who might not be fully caught up on the new law, make sure you bring it up yourself. Now, there are income limits. If you are a single filer and your modified adjusted gross income is under $75,000, you get the full $6,000. If you are married and filing jointly and your combined income is under $150,000, you get the full $12,000 for the two of you. The deduction starts to phase out above those thresholds and fully disappears once income hits $175,000 for single filers and $250,000 for joint filers. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, approximately 33.9 million seniors across the country may qualify for this deduction, and the average benefit is estimated to be about $670 in increased after-tax income per eligible taxpayer. Now, I want to be crystal clear about something because there's a lot of confusion circulating online. This is a deduction, not a tax credit. That means it lowers the amount of your income that gets taxed. It doesn't directly put $6,000 cash in your hands. But depending on your tax bracket, this could still translate into hundreds of dollars of real tax savings. And if you are someone who received a large retroactive payment from the Social Security Fairness Act in 2025, that lump sum payment is generally taxable. It counts as Social Security income on your SSA 1099 statement. The $6,000 senior deduction can help offset some of that extra tax burden. So these two things actually work together for a lot of people this filing season. And this is something that very few people are connecting. They think of these as separate issues. COLA is one thing, the Fairness Act is another thing, the new deduction is a third thing. But when you look at the big picture, all of it is interconnected. You got a raise from COLA. Part of that raise was eaten by Medicare. You may have received a large retroactive payment from the Fairness Act. That payment is taxable income, but the new $6,000 deduction helps reduce the tax hit. The pieces fit together, and if you're not looking at all three pieces at the same time, you're leaving money on the table or paying more taxes than you legally have to. There's one more thing I want to address, and this is about staying safe. Because anytime there is a major Social Security change in the news, the scammers come out in full force. They know that seniors are searching for information. They know that you're excited or worried or confused, and they are going to try to take advantage of that. Here is what you need to know. The Social Security Administration will never call you and demand payment of any kind. They will never ask you to verify your information over the phone out of nowhere. They will never threaten to suspend your Social Security number. They will never ask you to pay a fee to receive your retroactive payment. Those retroactive payments from the Fairness Act go directly into the bank account the SSA already has on file for you. Nobody should be calling you about that. If someone calls you claiming to be from Social Security and asking for money or personal information, hang up immediately. And then call the real SSA at 1-800-772-1213 to report it and to verify your own benefit status directly. Let's also talk about one practical thing you can do in the next 24 hours that will cost you nothing but a few minutes of your time. Go to ssa.gov and create a My Social Security account if you don't already have one. It's free, it's secure, and it gives you instant access to your benefit statement, your payment history, your upcoming payment dates, and your earnings record. You can see in real time whether your benefit has been adjusted, whether a retroactive payment has been processed, and what your current monthly amount is. You can also update your direct deposit information right there online, which makes sure any future payments go directly and quickly into your bank account rather than being delayed by mail. This one step, creating that online account, is genuinely one of the most powerful things a retiree can do to stay on top of their benefits. And if you are not comfortable doing it online, you can call 1-800-772-1213 during regular business hours Monday through Friday, and a real person will walk you through everything. You can also visit your local Social Security field office in person. All of these options are available to you. The bottom line here is this: the system is changing, and it is changing fast. Some of those changes are genuinely good news for millions of Americans who were being treated unfairly for decades. Some of those changes, like the Medicare premium hikes, are quietly working against you in ways that most news outlets don't bother to explain clearly. And some of these changes, like the new $6,000 senior deduction, are brand new and most people simply don't know about them yet. Knowledge is the difference between leaving money behind and actually collecting everything you've earned. You worked your entire life. You paid into this system, and you deserve to understand every single dollar that's coming to you, and every dollar you might be getting cheated out of if you're not paying attention. Stay right here with me, because coming up next, we're going to break down exactly how to check your own benefit statement step by step, and what specific words to say when you call the Social Security Administration to make sure you're getting everything you're owed.